My friend, welcome to Leadership Synergized. I'm your host, Kevin Smith, and today is a special episode as we close out another school year across the United States. It's the perfect time to highlight a remarkable leader who's been making positive waves in education right here in the southern part of the state of Indiana. I'm so very thrilled to welcome Coach Joe Wilson, an inspiring assistant principal at Springs Valley High School and also a passionate baseball coach for the Blackhawks. With a unique blend of youthful energy and genuine dedication, Coach Wilson has been shaping the lives of students and athletes in his community, fostering a culture of growth and excellence. Just days removed from wrapping up a competitive baseball season, he's here to share valuable insights about leadership in education, in coaching, as well as the importance of self-reflection and his journey back to his alma mater. Join me, if you would please, in welcoming Coach Joe Wilson to the show. If you've joined us the past 3 weeks, you've been able to pick up a number of nuggets from growth opportunities, how to remain grounded, how to just give away the anxiety opportunities or opportunities for anxiety and keep that foundation where it's necessary, even when life throws those curveballs in the dirt that don't cover the 60 feet 6 inches from the mound to home plate. Coach, thank you again for joining us and your patience as over these past 4 weeks with our recordings. And just wanted to jump in a bit and come back about you and your plans for further growth. What is it that's on your radar for Coach Joe Wilson to further gain knowledge, gain skill, or just to further develop as a leader?
Everything. That sounds crazy, but everything. And I think there's a lot of truth to, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but look around and see who's killing it right now. The same community, same status, same whatever worldview, same towns that look similar, who is still kicking tail, who looks similar to our school. And that's a big part where I want to continue to network with other schools around. I hate to admit it, but there's other schools around that are beating us at different things. And I think we have to be honest and transparent and understand that. Now, let's go have a conversation, put our pride to the side and go learn. I think that's how I've learned everything as a baseball coach to this point, is getting my tail kicked and then putting my pride to the side, think, okay, what can I do next? What did he do that I didn't do? What are they better at that I didn't get done? What can I do? And hopefully I think that same mindset that I've learned from the diamond as a coach will come into the admin office in the education world, to where it's not that we're less than, or we don't have the people here. We just don't have those systems in place yet. And they have. Kudos to them. And so I think we need to look around and be more open and network with the surrounding schools who are doing it. And maybe even more, there's all kinds of professional development opportunities but out there. But I also think with all of that, we as a community have to be open-minded and be willing to adjust. And that's no easy feat in itself. A lot of people they've been around, been doing it for a long time, and they're not necessarily wanting to adjust. They'd rather just deal with the way they've been doing it. And I can understand that to a T. However, if there's room for growth, how do we get our people to also want to grow? As much as I found that, as much as I want to do this or do that, and I think this would be a great idea, if we don't have buy-in from our people, from our building, from our staff, it won't get rolling. However, if we can get the buy-in, if we can get the teacher feedback, and also I think that's important too. I think, to be honest with you, I think we have a lot of very intelligent people within our building who would be willing and would love to do this, and maybe they have grand ideas, and I think we need to foster their mindsets, their thought process. I think sometimes I don't think we have to go too far. We just need to listen, go from there, work as a team, and put it into practice. I think I'm very much so, I don't know why we need to go way over here to go learn it when we can just do it here and just figure it out together. And then we just got to put it into practice and get that system, get that culture, organization. But we as admin have to create that culture that's going to foster not just I know everything or Mr. Pritchett knows everything. We don't know everything. We have to foster we're a team. Bring the ideas. Let's roll with it.
I couldn't agree with you more on the comment you just made. I think too many times organizations look for these training webinars to send people to when the reality is the talent's right there in-house. Why not utilize the talent the organization already has? So I commend you for that view, Coach. I could not agree more for all organizations, whether it's education, manufacturing, or what have you, industry-wise. Coach, this world today, especially with the gap that we experience over time with the generational settings. Well, in my day, or it used to be this way, or what might have been. But when I step back and look and I listen to you and speak to other educators and I listen to other leaders, developing leaders, the younger generations are just fine. They're going to figure out what they need to figure out, and they're going to be able to take this world to greater heights than my generation did, than your generation will in that piece. And one of the key aspects, critical success factors, is in those developmental stages in the schools with the educators and leaders such as yourself. What are some of the challenges that you see for our educators and individuals who work with the children, regardless what age they are, day in, day out, to be able to not get stuck in what might have been or what used to be, or this is how it was done and it worked then? How do we keep from allowing that to bottle the ingenuity or the innovation and the creativity in today's generations?
I think that's $1 billion question. How do they, I think there's got to be a trust and a relationship with that person. And I think there's even if it is a little bit different than it was 20 years ago, I still think those strong foundations or those fundamental skills that were effective then could still be effective now, are still effective now, just going about it maybe a little bit differently. And so I think it's how you present it, how you talk to them, I think if you go in and you talk to a 10-year teacher who's been here 30 years and you're thinking, all right, what you're doing here is done. We're not going that way anymore with no reason, whatever. And yeah, you'd be offended. Listen, they've been the professional. They've been doing it for a long time just because it's adjusted a little bit. But I think of how you present it. Okay, what you're doing here is fantastic. And we still want to foster this. We still want to use your expertise here, but let's adjust it, add this onto it or add this on. A little bit, obviously more technology based or whatever it may be. I think there's got to be a trust and a rapport there. For someone to trust you as a leader, one, they have to like you, I think, and maybe not like you, respect you, and have some sort of rapport that you're out for the betterment of all. You're not just here because the school board hired me in to do this job and I think I know everything, but you're in it for the betterment of the staff, for the kids. And I think that's a process to it. They got to be able to trust you. And again, I don't know about you, but I don't trust people who don't necessarily have my best interest in mind or I truly care about me. So I think when we care about our people and truly have those open, transparent, honest conversations and see that we're trying to help them out as best possible, then I think the mindset will shift a little bit. And again, a lot has changed, but I also think that fundamental education topics or ways of doing it are also still very effective today as they were then. It's interesting that I hear all the time where athletes are just different. Baseball players are just different. They just don't work hard. That couldn't be further from the truth, at least from my perspective. When I get those 20 guys away from, I hate to say it, but parents, when I get them, just me and them, they work hard, just as hard as I ever did too. And they respond just as hard as well as I did as a player. And it has how it has been. However, I think the parent mentality has changed a little bit, maybe a little softer, maybe not, whatever, maybe. But when you get kids alone and you're working with them, I don't think it's a whole lot different, to be honest, with me. So I still see very much potential, very much hope. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the world's going down. There's no good workers. There are still fantastic kids all throughout the school, all day long, fantastic teachers. Now, has things changed a little bit? Absolutely. But kids with wonderful futures that are going to do a lot. And so I think, again, as long as there's that relationship, there's that rapport, a lot of things can get done. However, when it becomes a dictatorship and we think we all know and you're just going to do this because I said so, I don't think people respond well to that. But whenever it's open and honest and transparent, I think we can do some great things.
I have no doubt. Much respect and love for every educator, and just thank everyone in the field of education, from the substitutes to the support staff to the educators to the leaders, building district, just counselors. It's just a wonderful vocation, career to have even today, even though we may hear or the world may be trying to tell us otherwise. And Coach, I want to jump back as we wrap up our time together, my friend. And first of all, just again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you and your team of Troy Pridgett and Jerry Cheney and Aaron Carnes and Monica Fox and Trevor Apple and just the board and everyone there at Springs, the educators, just do a wonderful job, the support team, the coaches. Because one of the things that I think really has stood out since I first met you, and in every one of our episodes today, or excuse me, in this past month, I should say, in our recording, you've represented how you stay true to your core of who Joe Wilson is. And a large part of that has to do certainly with your faith and your relationship with our Heavenly Father, but it certainly also has to do with your mom and dad and what they have meant to you. And it's such a joy, and it does my heart so good to know you and to be able to sense every word you state, that they're right there with you, whether your zip code's the same as theirs, whether you're around them or not. But having known your dad and your uncles and your grandparents, and having worked with your mom many, many years ago, I won't go how many because she might not like that more so in that regard, but
Yeah.
just wonderful people, just so well-grounded. I see that in you and every word you state, everything you talk about, everything you do. And I just commend you and love you so much for how you represent not just God, but them, your family, your parents, your legacy. And I know that includes your wife and your daughter now. And if you're like me, has probably learned more from my grandchildren over the past 12 years than I ever learned before. That's what's happening with you and your daughter in the first 2 years as a parent. So I commend you and just God bless you there. But if we could close, if you could just give one word, or not one word, but a response to this question. For those struggling on staying grounded today and being true to themselves, not allowing others or the world to pull them to become something they're not, how could you guide them?
You're definitely not alone. The same struggles, even though it may seem like that we're on here and that I'm going through it, just everything great, rainbows and flowers. I probably just struggled with the same issues 2 hours ago. So it is a lot of issues are everywhere, and you're definitely not alone. But man, when you just stay grounded, you understand who you are, what your purpose is. You hear a lot of the why you do it. And I think when you cling to that, then those issues that come up, those throughout the day, they get a lot easier to solve when you're thinking, okay, that's a little issue today, but is that affecting my why? Is that going to affect why I'm here? And so I think cling to that. I heard this recently, and this helps me a lot. And heard as a preacher talking about he wanted to be a missionary when he wanted to go to school, and he said he wanted to be a missionary. And he said his dad asked him, he said, okay, let's say you give your life to this, you go overseas, you go to a third world country, and you give your whole life, you put your marriage, you put your kids on the back burner, and I said, what happens if you don't save one kid, one child, you don't make a difference on one person? Is he worth it? And it just hits you. So if your why is if your faith is your foundation, and you use education as your ministry, that helps my mindset. Is he worth it? Is it worth it for one over the course of 20, 30 years in education? And if your answer is yes, then let's keep at it. But if you can't answer that, and the awe and the majesty of God and how wonderful he is, and if you're not willing to do it, we probably need to think about it a little longer. But is he worth it? I thought, man, is that powerful? And that punched you in the stomach. And so that helps you deal with, again, the nonsense coming up of, oh, Sally wasn't treated right, you're targeting and those are small issues, and I get that comes up, but is he worth it? And so to me, yes. And I keep having to remind myself, yes, because I stress out and I have anxieties probably about the same things you do. But keep asking yourself, is he worth it? And so that's my foundation. That's my goal. That's where I go back to. That's my why. So I'd recommend use that. And again, as I stated earlier, I don't always know how to help everybody, but I know the cheat code of where to go to. And it always works out for me. And I hope leaders around and can also use that. Is he worth it? That's my tidbit for today. So it works for me. I hope it works for you.
Very valuable. Coach Wilson, God bless you, my brother. Thank you so much for being with us. And let me just state, the world of education is in great hands with leaders such as yourself and the team you work around at Springs Valley School, community schools, and around our country. These generational leaders are making a difference, and they're doing it in the right way. Our children are growing from it, so thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
My friend, thank you for joining us for this inspiring conversation with Coach Joe Wilson. His passion for education and his commitment to lifelong learning shines through in everything that he does, reminding us, all of us, of the importance of observing, reflecting, and staying true to ourselves in our leadership journeys. I hope that you have gained some valuable insights and inspiration as well to apply in your own life and work. Be sure to tune in next week as we continue our discussion with Coach Joe Wilson on those vital needs that ensure success in education. Until then, remember, leadership is about growing together, and every experience is a stepping stone to further wisdom and understanding. Stay inspired, my friend. Keep leading with purpose.